Ladies and gentlemen, students of life, seekers of truth, there is a silent enemy that hides in the mind of every man and woman who has ever dared to dream. This enemy does not shout. It whispers. It does not come with weapons. It creeps in through hesitation, through delay, through fear masked as logic. It is called doubt, and unless you kill it, it will kill every great thing that lies within you. Doubt is often misunderstood. Many believe it to be just a harmless thought, something that comes and goes, a natural part of the human experience. But make no mistake, doubt is the root of failure. It is the invisible force that stops more people than defeat ever could. It does not destroy with explosions or great tragedy. It erodes quietly, eating away at confidence, ambition, and belief, until all that is left is a shell of what might have been. And when belief is absent, action becomes weak, purpose becomes diluted, vision becomes blurred. Doubt doesn't stop you in one moment, it stops you gradually, decision by decision, hesitation by hesitation, excuse by excuse. And before long, the dream that once lit your heart becomes a distant thought, dismissed as unrealistic or impossible. Failure itself is not what kills dreams. Many great minds and leaders have failed over and over again, but continued to rise. What kills dreams is doubt before effort. Doubt causes people to stop before they start. It convinces the mind that action is pointless, that success is for other people, and that one's own path is filled with too many risks. The most tragic part, doubt doesn't need to be true to be powerful. It only needs to be believed. What gives doubt its strength is your permission. The moment you start entertaining the idea that you're not good enough, that your past defines your future, or that you will be judged for trying, you have opened the door and let the enemy inside. The mind, once a source of creativity and potential, becomes a prison of fear. And yet, here's the truth many never realize. Doubt is not a master, it's a suggestion. It is not fact. It is opinion. And you have the choice to accept or reject it. If doubt is the root of failure, then awareness is the first tool for uprooting it. You must become aware of how and when doubt enters your mind. It might appear when you're setting goals, speaking in front of others, considering new opportunities, or simply when you imagine yourself succeeding. Pay attention. Doubt always follows vision. The moment you think bigger, it will rise to test your commitment. The bat is a sign you are on the right path. Great visions will always summon resistance. It is not a warning to stop. It is an invitation to grow stronger. The second step in killing doubt is to educate the mind. Doubt feeds on ignorance. When you don't understand your potential, you underestimate your power. Study the stories of those who came before you. Learn the principles of success, persistence, mindset, and discipline. With every bit of knowledge you gain, you weaken the roots of doubt. Doubt cannot thrive in a mind that knows its value. Finally, you must replace doubt with its opposite, faith. Not blind faith, but educated faith. A belief built on purpose, on study, and on action. When you start building a track record of small victories, your mind starts to see proof, and proof silences doubt faster than any words ever could. Remember this. Doubt is not something to manage. It is something to eliminate. You cannot succeed while entertaining the idea that you might not be worthy. You cannot achieve your potential while constantly questioning whether you deserve to try. The most powerful decision you will ever make is to believe in yourself, not just when things are easy, but especially when they are not. Doubt will always knock, but you must train your mind to say, "Not today. I have work to do." Kill the doubt, and you will free the path for everything else to rise. Faith is the foundation of all achievement. Without it, no great goal can be conceived, let alone accomplished. Faith is not merely religious or spiritual. It is a state of mind, a deep inner certainty that what you desire is possible and that you have the capacity to make it real. It is the mental soil where ideas take root, where effort feels meaningful, and where persistence is born. When faith is present, the impossible begins to look possible. When it is absent, even the simplest tasks can seem overwhelming. Many people live with misplaced faith. They believe more in their limitations than in their possibilities. They have faith in failure, in rejection, in scarcity. They have trained their minds to expect the worst, and so they act in fear, speak with hesitation, and live far below their potential. They do not lack intelligence or opportunity. They lack belief. And without belief, the mind does not direct energy, creativity, or courage. It holds back, playing small, staying quiet. Faith, in its true form, is a discipline. It is not something you either have or don't have. It is something you build. Just like a muscle, it must be exercised. If you do not intentionally grow it, the world will weaken it. Every criticism, every failure, every delay has the potential to chip away at your confidence. Unless you have built a strong foundation of faith, this foundation starts with understanding, knowing that your mind is the most powerful tool you possess, and that it can be trained to believe in the vision you hold, no matter how distant or ambitious. To build faith, you must begin by watching your thoughts. Every thought is a seed. When you think repeatedly, I can't, or I'm not ready, or I'll never be enough, you are planting weeds in your mental garden. But when you say, I am capable, I am learning, I will find a way, you are planting seeds of power. Over time, those seeds grow into beliefs, and your beliefs dictate your behavior. It is important to understand that belief does not require permission from others. You do not need everyone to agree with your vision. In fact, the greater your goal, the fewer people will understand it. Faith is personal. It is between you and your purpose. If you wait for the world to validate you, you may wait forever. But if you choose to validate yourself by choosing thoughts that support you, by taking action in the face of fear, and by affirming your worth daily, you begin to develop unshakable faith. Action reinforces faith. Many people wait until they feel confident before they begin, but confidence comes from doing. The first time you try something, it may be awkward. You may stumble. That's natural. But the second time, you improve. The third time, you begin to trust yourself. And the fourth time, you no longer wonder whether you can. You know you can. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a declaration. I believe in myself. Every completed task is a building block of faith. You must also guard your environment. Faith is fragile when first formed. Surround yourself with voices that uplift you, books that inspire you, mentors that challenge you to rise. Limit exposure to negativity, especially in the early stages of a new goal. The wrong voice at the wrong time can plant doubt. There is power in repetition. Tell yourself what you want to believe, not once, but every day. The mind accepts what it hears often. If you repeat, I am capable enough times, your subconscious will start to accept it as truth. This is not blind optimism. This is mental conditioning. Champions use it. Leaders rely on it. Anyone who has achieved anything great has first convinced their own mind that it was possible. Faith transforms how you see challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as dead ends, you see them as tests. Instead of failure being the end, it becomes feedback. Faith turns fear into fuel and setbacks into stepping stones. When your faith is strong, you do not need perfect conditions to begin. You begin, and through your belief, you create the conditions you need. Definitiveness of purpose is the key that unlocks the door to personal power. Without it, energy is scattered, time is wasted, and effort produces little result. A person with no clear purpose may work hard, may try many things, and may even possess great talent. But without direction, all of that potential remains dormant. A mind without a goal is like a ship without a rudder. Purpose brings order to chaos. It organizes thoughts, disciplines emotion, and sharpens focus. When you have a definite purpose, decisions become easier. You no longer ask, should I do this? Instead, you ask, does this move me closer to my goal? That one shift in thinking separates those who merely dream from those who achieve. Purpose acts as a filter. It tells you what to say yes to and what to walk away from without guilt. Most people wander through life reacting to whatever comes their way. They are influenced by trends, opinions, and distractions. Their lives are shaped by circumstance rather than choice. But the moment a person defines a clear, specific goal, their life begins to change. The goal gives meaning to their actions, gives fuel to their persistence, and gives strength to their discipline. Definitiveness of purpose is not the same as wishful thinking. Anyone can say they want success. Anyone can talk about their dreams. But definiteness means more than desire. It means clarity. It means specificity. It means you know exactly what you want, why you want it, and what you're willing to do to achieve it. That kind of mental clarity gives birth to a new level of energy, a kind of internal momentum that makes procrastination impossible and excuses irrelevant. The mind craves direction. When you give it a clear target, it begins to work in harmony with your will. You start noticing opportunities that were invisible before. Ideas begin to flow more easily. Resources seem to appear. This is not magic. It is the mind's ability to focus its full attention on one dominating idea. And when that idea is connected to emotion, passion, and belief, it becomes unstoppable. A person with definiteness of purpose becomes magnetic. Others are drawn to them, not because of luck, but because clarity creates confidence. People respect those who know where they're going. Leaders are not born. They are those who have chosen a destination and committed to it fully. Their energy speaks louder than their words. You feel it when they walk into a room. Their presence is not accidental. It is the result of alignment between mind, emotion, and action. Purpose also protects you. It shields you from distraction. In a world filled with noise, opinions, and temptations, it's easy to get pulled in 1,000 directions. But when you have a definite purpose, you don't chase every opportunity. You choose your path with intention. You don't compare yourself to others. You measure your progress against your own vision. And this internal focus is what allows you to keep moving even when things get hard, when critics appear, or when results are delayed. There will be times when the journey feels slow. There will be setbacks. But definiteness of purpose turns those moments into lessons. You don't see failure as the end. You see it as part of the process. You adapt, you adjust, but you never abandon your aim. That unwavering commitment builds resilience, and resilience over time builds results. To develop definiteness of purpose, begin by asking the right questions. What do I truly want to accomplish? Why does it matter to me? What kind of life do I want to live? These are not small questions. They require reflection, honesty, and courage. But the answers will light a fire within you that no obstacle can extinguish. Write your purpose down. Revisit it daily. Speak it aloud. Let it shape your decisions and guide your actions. When your purpose is definite, your efforts are no longer random. They are intentional. You wake up with direction. You move with purpose. And the more you commit to that purpose, the more the world responds. The right people show up. The right doors begin to open. This is not coincidence. It is the power of a focused mind backed by a committed heart. In the end, it is not talent, background, or even intelligence that determines greatness. It is clarity of purpose, followed by daily, disciplined action. Decide what you want. Commit to it with everything you have. and watch how life begins to align with the strength of your decision. Accretion is the cure. There is no substitute for it, no shortcut around it, no alternative that will produce the same transformation. Doubt, fear, procrastination, these are not problems that can be solved by thought alone. They are not removed by waiting, by wishing, or by simply acquiring more information. They are removed through movement, through action, through doing something, even if it's small, even if it's imperfect. Doubt thrives in stillness. The longer you wait, the more reasons your mind will create for why you shouldn't begin. The longer you hesitate, the stronger the voice of fear becomes. You begin to imagine all the ways you could fail, all the things that could go wrong, all the ways you might be judged. In that mental fog, your vision blurs. Your purpose weakens. Your energy drops. And all of it, every single ounce of it, could have been interrupted by a single step forward. The mind is not your enemy, but it must be trained. Left untrained, it leans toward caution, toward safety, toward comfort. It tells you to wait until the plan is perfect, until the timing is right, until you feel more confident. But perfection is an illusion. Timing is always shifting, and confidence comes after action, not before it. The only way to build momentum is to begin. That's how progress works, step by step, not leap by leap. One of the greatest misconceptions is the belief that motivation must come first. People wait to feel inspired before they move, but in truth, inspiration often follows effort. You act, and then you begin to feel more capable. You move, and then energy begins to rise. You take a chance, and only then does clarity begin to arrive. Waiting for motivation is like standing in a cold room and refusing to turn on the heater until you feel warm. Action does not always feel exciting. Sometimes it's dull, sometimes it's difficult, sometimes you won't see immediate results. But that doesn't mean it's not working. Every step you take, every task completed, every hour spent improving, every challenge you confront strengthens your mind. It builds self-trust. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who keeps promises, someone who creates change rather than waits for it. Consistency is the silent force behind all great success. It is not loud, not glamorous, and rarely does it grab attention. But it is the one discipline that separates those who merely start from those who finish. While most people focus on intensity, on big, bold moves, those who truly master their path understand that consistency is the long-term game. It is the daily commitment to show up, to improve, to push forward, even when results are slow and motivation is nowhere in sight. In a world obsessed with overnight success, consistency often feels underappreciated. But here is the truth. Nothing meaningful is built in a single moment. Confidence is not built in a day. Mastery is not achieved in a weekend. Purpose is not fulfilled by one lucky break. These things are earned by the individual who wakes up and chooses discipline over comfort, routine over randomness, effort over excuses, one day at a time, without fail. Consistency is not about perfection. It's not about doing everything flawlessly. It's about developing a rhythm, a standard, a pattern of reliability that becomes stronger than emotion. Feelings change. Some days you feel inspired, other days you don't. But consistency doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what your mission is. It grounds you in purpose. It reminds you that your identity is shaped not by what you do occasionally, but by what you do repeatedly. The most successful people in any field are not necessarily the most talented. They are the most consistent. Talent can get you noticed. Consistency is what keeps you progressing. It builds trust within yourself and with others. It compounds small actions into massive results. Just as water cuts through rock not by force, but by persistence, consistent effort wears down resistance, polishes skill, and reveals. One of the greatest advantages of consistency is momentum. Momentum makes hard things easier. When you show up every day, even with small steps, you start to feel the shift. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become routine. Skills that once seemed distant become second nature. You develop flow. And in that flow, your work becomes more efficient, your focus more powerful, and your belief more unshakable. But momentum works both ways. Just as consistent action builds momentum in your favor, consistent inaction builds momentum against you. Skipping one day might not seem like a big deal, but it opens the door. One missed day turns into two into a week, and soon the habit is broken. That's how people fall off track, not from a lack of ambition, but from a lack of structure. That's why consistency must be protected. It's fragile at first, but with time, it becomes a part of who you are. If you want to grow in any area, your mindset, your career, your relationships, your health, ask yourself one question. What can I commit to doing daily? Not occasionally, not when it's convenient, daily. That is how transformation begins. Consistency does not require grand gestures. A single page written each day becomes a book. 10 minutes of practice becomes mastery over time. One kind gesture a day deepens a relationship. Small focused actions, done daily, become powerful beyond imagination. To be consistent, you need systems, not willpower. Willpower is unreliable. It fades when you're tired, stressed, or distracted. Systems keep you anchored. Set your environment to support your habits. Create routines that simplify your decisions. Schedule your priorities instead of prioritizing your schedule. And above all, track your progress. What gets measured gets improved. Let the streak motivate you. Let your own commitment become your accountability. When doubt creeps in, when you begin to wonder whether your effort is even working, return to the principle of consistency. Remind yourself that the breakthrough you're waiting for is hidden inside the routine you've committed to. Most people quit inches before the result shows up. Don't be one of them. Stay the course. Trust the process. Let time become your ally. The power of consistency is not just an external achievement. It's in how it shapes your character. Every time you choose consistency, you are choosing integrity. You are proving to yourself that you can be counted on, even when no one else is watching. That inner confidence, that quiet pride, is the real reward. It's not just about getting things done. It's about becoming someone who keeps their word to themselves. If you seek transformation, if you wish to kill doubt and rise into your potential, let consistency be your foundation. Don't underestimate the strength of daily effort. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Begin now. Stay steady. And over time, your effort will speak for itself. Results will come. Progress will compound. And you will stand tall, not because of one great act, but because of 1,000 small steps that you refuse to quit on.